بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon. First of all, I would like to acknowledge and pay respect to those who are in front of us, the chairman of the More Islamic Liberation Front, Al-Hajj, Brother Haji Murad Ibrahim, the Honorable Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr., the current Malaysian Facilitator, His Excellency Tan Sri Zulkifli Jainal Abidin, Brother and Governor of Maguindanao, Del Norte, Brother Abdurrahman Makakwa, my esteemed partner, Cesar Villano, and Brother Hussein Muñoz, the Governor of North Cotabato, Honorable Governor Emilio Lala Calino, the Honorable Mayor of Cotabato City, Mayor Bruce Matabalang, and the Vice Mayor Bots Abu, Madam Melina Nathan, Senior Peace and Development Advisor of the United Nations Resident Coordinator's Office, Manila, former Secretary Teresita Quintos Delis, my former counterpart and later partner, Professor Miriam Coronel Ferrer, Presidential Assistant David Diciano, Dr. Emma Leslie, who traveled all the way from Cambodia, Dr. Nelsie Ronnie, Head of Mission, the Nonviolent Peace Force, Philippines, Reverend Father Gerald Fornan, representative of Cardinal Orlando Quevedo, Reverend Luis Daniel Pantoja, Brother Jamil Alim of the Consortium of the Bangsamoro Civil Society, Major General Alex Rilera, the Commander of the 6th Infantry Division, Philippines, Dato' ni Pantao M. Timbang, Vice President for Traditional Leaders of the United Bangsamoro Justice Party, and of course, Datu Uthman bin Abdul Razak, the Malaysian Third Party Facilitator, represented by the son Ahmad Yazid Uthman, and the representative of the late Malaysian Facilitator Datu Tengku Abdul Ghaffar Muhammad, in the person of his son Sariar bin Tengku Abdul Ghaffar. My colleagues from the MILF Peace Implementing Panel, as well as our brothers and sisters in the MNLF, and my colleagues in the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, again, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Actually, I have two sets of papers. One is the main report. I will distribute it later on. It's a 12-page report on the status of the implementation of the Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro. And I have a condensed version, but no matter how we try to condense it, but it's still 8 pages, because practically practically all the elements in my report are very substantive. So despite our engineering, we can only afford to make an 8-page condensed version. And thanks to the people who are behind in helping me in abbreviating the report. And before I proceed, I would like to mention the first peace panel chairman of the MILF, the late brother Ghazali Jaafar, and represented here by the Vice Mayor of Cotabato City, who is the son of the late brother Ghazali. It was exactly 10 years ago, on March 27, 2014, at the Malacanang Palace, when we signed the historic Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro, or simply CAB. Questions arise in the minds of those who are invested in the peace process, the most important of which is what is now the status of the CAB. I will attempt to capsulize what we have recorded as accomplishments in the span of 10 years. What are the gaps and challenges in the implementation? And what needs to be done to complete the implementation? Interestingly, we also ask, is an exit agreement in the horizon? This report is called primarily from the perspective of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and by no means does it describe the complete picture, because as you know, the duty to implement the peace agreement is not only lodged with the MILF, but with the national government as well. It is a collaborative effort and continuing partnership to this day, and it is revered as sacred and time-honored covenant among the parties. At the outset, let me emphasize that the Moro Islamic Liberation Front and the Philippine government remain fully committed to the peace process. Spanning 6 administrations from the late President Fidel V. Ramos to the current leadership of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the MILF recognizes the earnest efforts of the Philippine government to fulfill its commitments under the peace agreement. At the global stage, we find ourselves at the edge of a precarious political situation with over 50 active armed conflicts raging across the world, including the devastating crisis in Ukraine and Gaza. At this very moment, we are witnessing a harrowing genocidal onslaught against innocent Palestinian men, women, and children in Gaza, while the international community stands frozen in paralysis, failing tragically to intervene and halt this catastrophic injustice. This is why it is imperative to cherish the Bangsamoro Peace Agreement and to guard the peace as if our very lives and the safety of our children depend on it, and as if the future of our entire nation hinges precariously upon its success. The implementation of BICAP can be viewed in 3 tracks: the political or the normalization track, the legal track, which pertains to the organic law or BOL, and then there is the constitutional track. I shall present the accomplishments in the implementation using these tracks. And these are the major accomplishments. On the political track, the commissioning of MILF combatants and weapons is the most visible aspect of normalization. It has progressed way ahead of the other aspects and has reached the 3rd phase with a total of 26,132 MILF combatants profiled and processed, 4,625 weapons put beyond use, and 6,317 pieces of ammunition turned over and disposed through the international decommissioning body, with the timely provision of transitional cash assistance amounting to 100,000 pesos per decommissioned combatant. The Joint Normalization Committee and the Joint Peace and Security Committee, as other mechanisms on normalization, have also been established and operational. However, much to the MILF's dissent, the International Monitoring Team has effectively been dislodged as part of the peace mechanisms. The failure to renew the terms of preference for the IMT, culminating in its withdrawal last June 30, 2022, has created a void in the monitoring, verification, and third-party investigation of ceasefire violations. On the other hand, the third-party monitoring team, composed of international bodies and domestic groups tasked to monitor the implementation of all agreements, is highly functioning and operational. It releases regular public reports to provide updates and overall assessments of developments and progress in the implementation of all agreements between the Philippine government and the MILF. As part of confidence-building measures outlined in the Annex on Normalization, we are grateful to President Marcos Jr., under whose term the National Amnesty Commission was formally constituted. National Amnesty Commission is about to commence the application process and is expected to release the implementing rules and regulations. Still integral to confidence-building measures, we commend the development of the CAMS Transformation Plan and its investment program 2023 to 2028, which serves as a foundational guide for the transformation of the 6 acknowledged MILF camps. Building on this groundwork, the GPS MILF Task Force for CAMS Transformation has taken a significant step by identifying 36 priority barangays with comprehensive master plan already established for Camp Abu Bakar. Nevertheless, the MILF wishes to emphasize that under the CAB, the implementation of the agreement, especially aspects of normalization, including the amnesty program, must not proceed unilaterally. Letter B, the legal track, the enactment of the Bangsamoro Basic Law and the establishment of the Bangsamoro. On the enactment of the Bangsamoro Organic Law, 2024 is the 5th year since the enactment of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. But it must be pointed out that this version approved by Congress in 2018 is not completely faithful to the CAB and its annexes, particularly on the power sharing. Unfortunately, there were substantial provisions in the Bangsamoro Transition Commission approved basic law that were held on grounds of constitutionality. With fifth, the MILF holds on to the possibility of recovering the deleted provisions via proposals for constitutional amendment. Letter number 2, the establishment of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao with a parliamentary form of government is the crowning glory in the implementation of the peace agreement. BARM is progressing towards self-governance that closely approximates the Bangsamoro people's aspiration for self-determination. The Bangsamoro Transition Authority has enacted most of the priority codes, the most crucial of which is the Bangsamoro Electoral Code, with emphasis on the formation of genuinely principled political parties. Its effectiveness and implementation will be tested in the upcoming 2025 parliamentary elections. The United Bangsamoro Justice Party is actively reorganizing and gearing up to meet the stringent criteria for accreditation as a regional political party. The proposed Bangsamoro Revenue Code is already filed as Parliament Bill number 286 and referred to the Ways and Means Committee for the conduct of public consultation. Arguably, the BAM enjoys stronger political powers compared to its predecessor, the Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao, or ARM. BAM's territory is now expanded with the inclusion of Cotabato City and the 63 barangays in North Cotabato, with the laws creating 8 municipalities from the 63 barangays. We are awaiting the conduct of the simultaneous plebiscites on April 13, 2024 to secure ratification of these laws by the residents therein. The MILF-led BARM also makes use of the guaranteed block grant that is automatically appropriated for the Bangsamoro government. The Bangsamoro Parliament then identifies priorities in the allocation of budget among its ministries, offices, and agencies, thereby providing stronger opportunities for self-determination. On the constitutional limitation, I spoke earlier about proposals for constitutional amendment. It is worth noting that the Bangsamoro Parliament adopted resolution number 433 expressing the sense of the Parliament in supporting charter change to resolve constitutional issues in the implementation of the CAB that necessitates amendment of the 1987 Constitution. Among these issues are the following. Number one, power sharing agreement that defines what is reserved to the national government, what is exclusive to the Bangsamoro government, and what is concurrent powers to both. Number two, the Sharia justice system. Number three, policing in the Bangsamoro. Number four, supervision and control of the regional government over its local government units. Number five, the delineation of powers of the constitutional bodies vis-a-vis regional government. And six, qualification of the chief minister. Exit agreement. A major provision of the framework agreement on the Bangsamoro or FAB is what we now know as the exit agreement, to be signed by the government of the Philippines and the MILF, officially terminating the peace negotiation if and only when all agreements have been fully implemented. The TPNT shall convene a meeting with the panels of the parties and together with the Malaysian facilitator, review, assess, or evaluate the implementation of all agreements. As to when the exit agreement will be signed will depend on the pace of the implementation and assessed by the parties together with the TPNT. It may happen soon or otherwise, depending on the compliance of the parties of their respective obligations. Now I will discuss the gaps and challenges. In celebrating milestones in relation to the CAB, we must also be conscious of the challenges. Allow me to name a few. First, lack of adequate funds for normalization. The delivery of socio-economic packages for the decommissioned combatants remain to be addressed. Both the MILF and the government of the Philippines have obligations to help decommissioned combatants transition into productive civilian lives. We remain optimistic that the government of the Philippines is able to ensure that there are funds for said transition to take place. Letter B, under gaps and challenges. While the commissioning has reached the third phase of implementation, the other components of normalization, such as the disbandment of private armed groups, camp transformation, reduction of small arms and light weapons, are lagging behind and need to catch up with the strides of the decommissioning process. As it stands now, the implementation activities under these components are limited to planning, study, development of a roadmap, formation of committees and study groups, and fund sourcing. It must be noted that the Annex on Normalization itself provides that the decommissioning of MILF weapons and forces shall be parallel and commensurate to the implementation of all the agreements of the parties. Letter C, it's about policing. The creation of a professional police force for the Bangsamoro, which is civilian in character, has not yet materialized. What is established instead is the PNP Police Regional Office in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, or PRO-BAR, which is simply a regional office of the Philippine National Police. Moreover, the frame agreement on the Bangsamoro provides that pending the implementation of the agreed policy in the Bangsamoro, the BTA shall have substantial participation in using the head and in the employment and the deployment of the existing PNP in the Bangsamoro. Again, this is not directly observed and implemented. Letter D is the non-renewal of the international monitoring team. The non-renewal of the terms of reference of the international monitoring team is contrary to the letter and spirit of the peace agreement. The INT, together with the other ceasefire mechanisms, invasion to stay until the end of the decommissioning or until there are less chances of a ceasefire being broken between the parties. As mentioned, there is now a void in the monitoring, verification, and third-party investigation of ceasefire violations. Letter E, initialization of the transitional justice and reconciliation. Transitional justice and reconciliation, which is aimed at addressing the legitimate grievances of the Bangsamoro people, correcting historical injustice, and addressing the human rights violations and disposition of lands, is also left hanging. The recommendations of the Transitional Justice and Reconciliation Commission in its report have not been adopted, thereby missing the chance for national healing and reconciliation, the most effective way of preventing recurrence of violent conflict. Number 4, it's about conclusion and recommendation. I wish to conclude this report by underscoring that the right to propose amendments to the Constitution is one of the basic rights recognized under the CAP. The peace agreement offers the possibility of proposing constitutional amendments to accommodate and entrench the agreements of the parties. The time is right to pursue the constitutional track to address the gaps in the implementation of the peace agreement. Having exhausted the legal flexibility and creativity to fit the CAP within the narrow framework of the Constitution, we have proven in the last 10 years that the legal flexibility is simply not enough. Again, the MILF, through United Bangsamoro Justice Party, will have to participate in the first parliamentary election in 2025 if we want to sustain our leadership and environment. At stake here is not only the continuity of the peace process, but also the preservation of the institutional and political reforms that we have already established in the Bangsamoro homeland. This election is going to be highly contentious and doubly difficult for UBGP members who are considered amateurs in politics. We are just starting to get organized and learning to adopt a new form of struggle that is winning the vote through peaceful, clean, and credible election. I remind to those patients, widen your understanding, extend the avenues for trust and confidence in the peace process. In closing, allow me to take the opportunity to thank each one of you who travel all the way from Malaysia, Cambodia, Australia, Manila, Davao, General Santos, and North Cotabato for joining us in celebrating the triumph of the peace. The peace process journey has brought us together the best and the brightest and the most compassionate and the patient people that I know in the 17 long years of negotiation and 10 years of implementation of the peace agreement. Thank you for your support, solidarity, and belief in the justice of the cause of the Bangsamoro people. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.